Great marketing is when more people know about you today than they did yesterday. If you're operating a SaaS business, if you're working on growing the SaaS business, if you're at like some revenues and you're trying to get to say like $1 million ARR or a little bit above that, one of the biggest things you really need to figure out is how do you scale your SaaS marketing? How do you actually get more people knowing about you today than they did yesterday? So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all the levers that you have to scale your SaaS marketing. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you navigate the path to the next stage of growth, navigate the path to product market fit. So if you're new to our community, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so that you get notified every single time I drop a video like this with the TK energy. Also, if you're already a member of our community, welcome back. It's really awesome to have you here. So you might be building out your SaaS business and you might be wondering, okay, we have a certain number of leads that are coming in and we have a 20% close rate because on average, everyone's got a 20% close rate if you've got enough lead volume coming through. And the only real thing you need to figure out now is how do I actually increase the number of people that know about me today? How do I get more leads? Now, leads and lead generation is not a very sexy topic, but it happens to be the lifeblood of your business. So I'm gonna dig through the 3 principles to follow to actually scale your SaaS marketing so you get more leads, more customer conversations, and accelerate your growth. So if you're excited to dig into that, I'm gonna take everything that I know from my own SaaS journey, from my Tout app journey, from my Marketo journey, both different scale SaaS businesses, and walk you through everything that I know. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button. No, seriously, smash the like button because it means a lot to us. And then let's go into principle number 1. Actually, before we go into principle number 1, let me just walk you through kind of the lay of the land. If you're looking to actually scale your SaaS marketing, right, there are a couple of factors you need to think about. The first thing is your TAM. This is your total addressable market, everyone that you're going after, everyone in the world that could be using your software. Then as you have your core marketing functions, you're gonna first start off with friends and family, then you're gonna go into inbound. Inbound is when people are coming to you and raising their hand. Maybe they download a lead magnet, maybe they see an ad and then they come in and they say, hey, I'm interested in your software. Then you actually go into outbound. Outbound is when you are cold emailing people. This is what my software Tout app did back in the day. You're cold emailing people and saying, hey, do you need this software? Are you interested in this? Do you want to solve this problem? Can we get on a phone call, right? And then after that, once you have inbound and outbound all figured out, you switch into this like world dominating Allbound where you're everywhere. Now, here's the thing. When I come across a lot of SaaS startup founders, what I find more often than not is they're trying to do everything. They're trying to run ads, they're trying to do inbound, they're trying to do outbound, they're trying to be everywhere all at once. They're doing content marketing, they're doing everything. And what they end up doing is they end up being neither here nor there. And so you actually get mixed results from your marketing spend. Your ads don't quite convert. Your outbound emails, no one responds to, and they just put you into the spam. And that's not what you want in the early days of your SaaS business. So the first principle I always say for people that are going through my Unstoppable Go-to-Market program, where we actually help you build your sales and marketing machine for your SaaS business, the first thing I say is start with friends and family. Find all the people that are in your ICP that you know or is 1 degree of separation away and get introductions to them or reach out to them and say, hey, we're solving this problem. Would you be interested in trying this out and giving us feedback and buying and put them into the sales process? So you always start with friends and family. Once you've got some wins from that, then you go into inbound. Inbound is when you create a lead magnet and then you say, okay, we're gonna go on social media, let's just say LinkedIn, because a lot of B2B buyers are over there, and we're gonna share some thoughts and we're gonna link them to our lead magnet, they're gonna discover us, and then we're gonna enter them into our sales conversation. You can also add ads to inbound. You can say, I'm gonna run a bunch of ads that points to my lead magnet, which people will then download, and then they'll enter into our sales process. So the first stage of this, I always say, is don't try to do everything. Start with friends and family, and then scale into inbound. Once you've got inbound humming, and how do you know it's humming? You get about 70% conversion rates on your lead magnet pages because you've got your messaging just down, and someone in your ICP looks at it and says, oh my God, this is totally me, I want to learn more. And then they sign up and they enter your sales process. Once you have that down, then you can actually start to expand into outbound using the messaging that has actually generated the inbound leads. Because what happens is you're no longer using your own words at that point. You're using the words of the people that have already become customers and using their words and their stories to actually do outbound, which increases your chances of actually communicating effectively when you do outbound. So you always start with friends and family, then you do inbound, and then you go into outbound. And before I go into the next one, the next stage, let me just pause here for a second. I want to make sure you're getting the pattern here, right? Why do I make it where you got to start with the core friends and family, then really get inbound working, and then get outbound working? The core pattern here, the core thing here is your message, your strategic narrative, if you will, your manifesto, if you will. This is your core thing of like, we solve this problem. Here's why it's important and urgent. Here's our unique view on why it's important and urgent enough to solve now. And here's why we're the best ones to do it. That's your core message, right? In your marketing, in your sales, in everything. You're not really gonna know. You're gonna have a thesis around this, but until you have quality customer conversations and sales conversations, and you actually close some of those, and you actually earn the trust, until you have all those things, you won't really know that. And the core pattern here is to really hone in on that message as you go from friends and family to inbound, then to outbound. And you start to actually get this on why this is so important in your sales and marketing, right? In scaling your SaaS marketing. Can I just get a yes in the comments below? If you're shy, just smash that like button if you haven't already. Now let's go into Allbound. Once you've got your honed in message, once you've got your manifesto, if you will, that's what we call it in our program. Once you've got that and people are converting into your inbound lead flow, you're running outbound on it and people are saying, oh my God, yes, I want to get on a meeting because this is super important. That's when you can go into Allbound. Allbound is this thing of conversation dominance where for the people that are in this total addressable market in your ideal customer profile, for these people, no matter where they go, what social network they go into, or what ads they're looking at, you're there. Because you're just so sure this is for them and you're using just the right messaging. And you have so much conviction around that messaging because it's been battle tested. You can actually spend more money on that messaging and you're not gonna lose it. And you guys starting to see this? So often when I work with founders and early stage teams, they try to do Allbound right in the beginning. They try to do a little bit of outbound, they try to do a little bit of inbound, they run ads, they do all of these things, they do events, but they haven't honed in on their message. And therefore, a lot of dollars, a lot of effort get wasted and they end up being neither here nor there. This is why I always coach people to say, let's get your friends and family first, hone in on your message. Use that to do inbound. Get your inbound working and hone in on your message. Once your inbound is working, then go to do outbound and hone in on your message. Once you've got all of this going, then double down to really scale this more. And what ends up happening that way is you actually know how to methodically scale your SaaS marketing. You end up honing in on your message really well, using the words that your customers are telling you. And then you get to actually scale your business faster. And more and more and more people end up knowing you today than they did yesterday. So now you know how to actually scale your SaaS marketing in a methodical way and in the steps to follow to do that. What you might not know is how do you actually hone in on your message? How do you create this thing called a manifesto, which is what I call and what I coach my founders, the founders that I work with to actually create to hone in on their message. So this is why if you're actually in the stage where you're building a SaaS business, you're in the early stages, you're building out your SaaS marketing, your SaaS sales, you want to create that machine, you want to go from some revenues to 1 million ARR, then I encourage you to check out my 45-minute training on how to build an unstoppable sales and marketing machine. It's completely free. All you need to do is follow the link below or just go to tkkader.com/SaaS-training. tkkader.com/SaaS-training. It's a 45-minute training. It's completely free. I walk you through exactly how to revamp your sales and marketing machine. Use these principles that I just showed you here so that you can accelerate your growth, so that you can scale your marketing, so that more people know about you today than yesterday consistently. If you got value from this video, please smash that like button. It means the world to me and my team. We put a lot of effort into these videos. Also, if you have a friend that's a startup founder or a teammate that would get value from this video, please share it with them. It'll mean the world to us. We want to spread our message and help as many SaaS founders build and scale their SaaS businesses. I also drop a video every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you're new to the community, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you get notified. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I will see you in the next episode.